Okay, welcome back to the Stream Sluggers. Today we are starting on our next project. We're going to be working on Asra Tamamonomae Utage, a girlpla that I've been looking into getting for a while. Just the figure for now. We don't have her battle gear yet, but it's on the way. Hopefully we'll get it soon. We just finished our RX-93 V Gundam, New Gundam, whatever you want to call it. We're just living life here. Okay, get our music going. I actually haven't done much with this kit yet. I've just seen the box, so this is a totally fresh go. Let's see, how does this open? From the side. I like the box art, looks real nice. Okay, nothing else in there. Got our instruction manual. I'm not sure what this is for, but since it's for use in Japan only, it's not for us. Yeah, okay, instructions. We have got a green runner. Oh, it's open. It's our C runner. Seems like a lot of her accessories, and then of course just some highlight colors. The main color is this kind of like inky black bluish kind of thing. Oh, there we go. Which I think the green and this black color work really well together. Okay, that's B. Another one. Pop this open. I don't know why they individually package these. It'd be interesting to find out. Because I don't see a reason. Oh, hello, Psycho. Welcome back. I've been doing pretty good. Pretty good here. Can't complain. How about yourself? We're starting on our new project today because we basically finished the other Gundam. I still haven't posted any pictures of it on social media, but we'll get there. I'm just a procrastinator. Okay, come on. Oh, didn't open so great. But this looks like her hair. I think this one has a couple of hair parts, like you can do few different hairstyles with it. Or maybe it's all just layered together. I don't actually know. We're gonna find out as we build. Okay, maybe it's all layered. Alright, all the body. Humidity and heat has been pretty bad this week, but besides that, all good. Tell me about it. It is killer down here in the south. I come from more northern climes, and this is actually my first year living in one of these southern states, so it's brutal. Anything over, honestly, high 80s is the hottest it ever got up there. So anything over like 90, that's terribly hot. And I don't think it's dropped below 90 except for nighttime here for weeks. So I'm just melting into a little puddle. So drink plenty of fluids, stay hydrated, all the good stuff. It made me realize I'm real thankful for ice. Ice is a godsend. Oh, got two parts. E and D. Okay, we're almost to the bottom of the box. Free Gatorade from the boss. The hydration aid of champions. Or at least the Florida Gators. So, works for them, it probably works for us. Oh, what a funky little runner. I won't make any jokes, but it has a shape. Okay, we've got a base in this green color. These bags are killing me. One of these days I'll get it. Yep, got a base and all of its parts. And then it looks like we've got just some accessories, hands, pegs, hands and faces. A few things. Alright, does the Gatorade come from your automotive technician boss or from your landscaping boss? So when I was doing landscaping, my boss was pretty good. But ever since then, I haven't had bosses that would provide anything. Ugh, almost. Tell you, these bags. Automotive. Get 2 coolers full. 2 coolers, not even just one. Alright. Alright. Well, I'm turning into a barbarian. I'm just tearing these bags open. Just to get a couple of hands. I had a hunger that only hands could satisfy. Bonus points if you can name where that comes from. Not that the bonus points will do anything, but just so you can get them. Okay, more hands. This is an odd runner, too. Why is it so long? I feel like you could have condensed this. Made it shorter. But, not my plastic. Well, I guess it is now. But I didn't manufacture it. Stickers and faces. 3 faces. 2 already stickered up. And then I guess I got stickers to make my own expression. Yes, you have no points. And nothing I can do about that at the moment. Though, once you become a really cool Twitch streamer, then Twitch decides to give you some incentives for your viewers. Points that you can use to, like, redeem for, like, sounds and stuff. It's kind of cool. It'd be cool if we got there, but at the same time, no worries or rush to do so. I'm just doing as I please. Get my stickers out. Okay. We have got mostly everything. I'm gonna try and set aside the runners I don't think I'll need immediately into the box on the side and kind of keep everything else within arm's reach here. And maybe semi-organized by what they do. Okay, let's take a look at these instructions. Lots of stuff in Japanese I don't understand. But now we're here. I can understand numbers. 1s and 2s I got. Alright, let's roll up the sleeves and get to work. We're going to need some hair parts. And then a numbered sprue. Whatever one is. Okay. Yep, that is why we have pictures. Even simpletons like me who can't read can understand pictures. Sometimes. Maybe. But that's what we said about the Gundam we were building last time, but we still made some mistakes, despite having pictures. Yeah, 3 and 4. Okay, there we go. What else do I need? I need these from the top step, which is going to come off of B and C. That's A. This is B. All right, where is 16? Right here. All right. Things have been pretty good here. We've been talking a lot about D&D recently. I haven't played in a while. Once again, one of those old hobbies that just kind of fell to the wayside. But recently, my friends have all started bringing it up. So we're airing out the idea of possibly doing a D&D campaign sometime, which I'd be super excited if that were to happen. Oh, I need the C sprue now. C22. Right now, they're kind of debating on whether or not they want to run a pre-made adventure or if we're going to just do something custom. Always wanted to play, never got the chance. Sounds like we have to fix it. Everyone's got to play D&D at least one time in their life. A little bit of role play never hurt anybody. An experience that I highly recommend. People stream D&D all the time. Maybe I ought to try and get a viewer game going. I don't know how I'd pull it off, but worth looking into, right? I've heard there's all kinds of tools that you can use, like Roll20 and Virtual Tabletop Simulator, and there's more out there. But those are the two that popped into my head. Those are the two I've heard about. So it would be fun. But even if you can just play normally, like if you go to a game store, you could probably find a group that's playing and would take a new player. I started way back, even I think before high school. I just found a friend who was playing and he invited me along. It was a fun little campaign. Um, that being said, we definitely didn't follow like any of the rules for it. It's more a freelance than anything else. But it was enough to dip our toes into the water and it became a hobby thereafter. Yeah, probably been on and off for like, 14 years. That's pretty long in retrospect, actually. Okay, there we go. Friend had started a campaign, but with school and work, my free time didn't line up, so never got to start. Oh, a tragedy. You were so close. But that is the big thing when it comes to those. I mean, just gaming in general, I feel. Um, it's difficult to get people's schedules to line up. I've experienced that playing D&D, of course, and then I've experienced it as I was playing Warhammer. Um, Even like just online video games, you try and get like a Helldivers 2 matchup to go. You're trying to coordinate with everybody, and it's just not working out. People have family emergencies, or they got work, or they're just too busy. And, so I get that. And heck, I even stopped playing because I got too busy. So, if you ever manage to find a group, never let them go. Never let them go. Because that is honestly probably one of the more difficult parts, is just getting it to start. Because everyone's got a lot of stuff to do. You got to make characters. The DM's got to prep all the encounters in the world, and he's got his own prep work to do. And then you have all the scheduling to try and match up, and so the more players you have, the more difficult it gets. And that's all even before you've even started to play. Always end up going solo because something comes up, but Helldivers isn't as fun playing solo or with randoms. I agree. I agree. Because I used to play it solo for a little while, but then I just kind of. The fun got sucked out of it. Because as fun as it is, it's the same gameplay loop kind of over and over again. So if you don't have your friends to like break it up, then yeah, I think it just becomes a little bit tired. So I hardly ever play Helldivers anymore unless I know my friends are going to be on. And then we usually game for an hour or two, and then everyone goes their separate ways. I actually haven't played a lot of games that I enjoy solo. Um, I've tried a lot of MMOs. I've tried a lot of co-op games, stuff like that, and a lot of them you can play with randoms. But yeah, it's just I don't know. You lose a lot of the draw if you're playing with randoms. I feel because you want to figure out what your friends are gonna do. Okay, and you just you want to play with your friends, which is good. Okay, how does this go together? Oh, maybe we got it. It's got to slide in. Am I upside down? Just because we have pictures doesn't mean we've got it right. Yes. All right. Second try. We were upside down. All right. We figured it out, boys. Uh, New Helldivers update came out. I had a good 2 weeks where no matter the schedule, we could try and get on. Then the campaign ended, and now no one has time again. Classic. Classic. Oh, man. Yeah, but no, people just end up getting busy. So, or I should say they find ways to get busy, and then they find ways to get unbusy depending on, exactly what they're trying to do. You know, Can't help but feel like I'm missing something here. Yeah, something like this. All right, there we go. Got the hair to meet. Get these tabs in the side. Oh, we've got hair. No face yet, but we got hair. Okay. 3 is ears. Okay. That's a lot of parts. That's a lot of pieces. It seems like it's mostly all coming off the A and C sprues. But yeah, no, if you can find people to work with your schedule, oh man, never give it up. Never give it up. Okay, let's see. The other thing about this campaign, though, is it would be a whole bunch of new people, which isn't a bad thing, but it means we're going to take a lot of time in the beginning just kind of setting things up and getting people spun up on the rules and their characters and all kinds of stuff. So that has a tendency to like kill players when they realize just how much prep they've got to do. Um, so we'll see how many of them last and if this actually turns into a campaign or not. D&D's not for the weak. But I feel that's kind of what separates them from like regular board games. Is there's oftentimes a bigger like time commitment when it comes to the tabletop games as opposed to a board game. And maybe that makes it inaccessible to the average player, but at the same time, it highlights its strength in that there's just a lot of depth to tabletop games where you maybe don't have so much in the average board game. Okay, I've got both the ears. I'm just missing the C parts now. And to be honest, that may be why I'm not particularly fond of board games. I mean, they're not terrible, but I would much rather play D&D as opposed to like House on the Hill or something. And I think it's just because of the depth offered. Okay. That and maybe it's because I'm also very competitive. I don't like to lose. So board games are a little contentious when I decide to play them. Like a good old game of Sorry. Or Uno. These curved surfaces provide an interesting challenge for this file. Get everything smoothed and lined up. Most people want a quick party game. Not a lot like to play the same thing over a longer time, but they're missing out on the story, planning, and how in depth it gets. Yep. I think I'm just a sucker for that depth. Just a sucker for it. That may be like freedom of choice. D&D, of course, is constrained by a rule set, but it's still just role playing. And you can kind of do what you want. You know, it feels often more like playing an open world RPG video game than it does a board game. That'd be an interesting to study to see how many online RPG players, like video game RPG players, play tabletop RPGs. I imagine it'd be fairly consistent, but maybe not. Just because video games are definitely more accessible, easier to get into. You can just buy it and have an experience as opposed to the tabletop where you have to set it up. But I feel like they're similar enough. The audiences are probably the same. Or similar. Probably not the same, but similar. There we go. Making everything dusty. Okay. Oh, speaking of RPGs, have you played the Oblivion remastered yet? Or do you have any interest in it? I can't remember where, but someone made a lifelike D&D campaign where it's based on having a job and stuff like that. Honestly, pretty funny to watch people roll for weird events like accidentally running a stoplight or winning the lottery. The mundane life. What is it? I've heard all kinds of um, spin-offs on D&D, and I remember a spin-off kind of like what you're describing, but I can't remember what it's called either. So it sufficeth it me to say I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what it's called either. Okay. I need 15 and 16. Oh, little fluffs. Little neon green fluffs. Not cancerous in any way. Not at all any kind of uranium glass. No long-term side effects. But anyways, I was talking about Oblivion because it was like an RPG. And I've played a lot of Skyrim, but I haven't much played any of the other Elder Scrolls. So I wondered if anybody I was talking with or knew had ever played it before. If they would recommend it or not. Because at this point, I pretty much go off of a recommendation. I hardly ever pre-order anything anymore or necessarily even trust review. It's all pretty much peer recommendation now. Man, these are so tiny. Oh, almost lost it. Played the original, the unmastered Skyrim, or Oblivion. There we go. Let me realign my thoughts with what we were actually talking about. See, and I remember my brother playing the original Oblivion, but I don't remember much from it or about it or anything, so I'm kind of just like, what? I'll have to broaden my horizons then, expand the knowledge pool, get some more recommendations from others. All right, what's the assemblage for all of this? Fluff goes in ears. We can do that. Okay. 1 and 2. Ears go on to headband and then get pinned in place. I just want to know if there's any value in going back to Oblivion is really the question. Bit hard to find a good RPG game to like playing till you finish. They're also different. Fair enough. And then your definition of finish is different, right? Like, I've got hundreds of hours into Skyrim, but I've actually never finished the main story quest. So, have I ever truly finished Skyrim? No. But I've played all of the side quests pretty much. I've added mods, but I feel like that's kind of one of the benefits of these RPGs is you can kind of play what you want. You don't necessarily have to finish a game. You can play what you want. Okay. Now we've got this. 10, 11, 9, and 2. Okay, I see 9 and I see 2. Perfect. We're good. We've got it all figured out. And honestly, it was the same thing with like Elden Ring. I did actually finish Elden Ring though, but I played what I wanted to. I wasn't super concerned about beating every boss, going to every area, doing everything. Not super interested in 100%ing the game. Just playing what I wanted to play. Which I think is definitely one of the strong suits for these RPG games. Just nice experience. Go on a side quest spree till you find out there's something you need from the main story and you one-shot everything and are stuck watching all the clips and dialogue. That has happened a few times, yes. Yes, it has. That's why games that like adjust the world to your level are so nice. Because then you still have challenge even in the late game. But I guess how they balance that can be a little iffy. It's not like some games do a pretty good job of strengthening enemies into the late game. Other games, not so much. Right, yeah. Okay. Oop. Slip from me fingers. This keeps looking like one of these nubs, and I want to keep throwing it away, but it is not. I'd be very sad if I were to throw it away. But I feel like games that allow more free choice are probably the more popular of the, or the more popular video games of video games as a whole. Then maybe it's just because that's the crowd I hang out with, and this is my own confirmation bias. But even then, maybe not, right? Like, GTA is extremely popular, and it's all about just you making choices. It's a role-playing game. Not a fantasy role-playing game, but it is a role-playing game. But it might be more, well, maybe not. I was going to say it might be more accurate to describe GTA as like a sandbox, but GTA has quests, stories, jobs that you can do. Things in the world. It's not necessarily you have to make your own fun. There's plenty of fun in the game. Okay. This goes up through here. Maybe? And then this is on the back side, I believe. Oh, never mind. This is the front side. That's the back side. Just like this. Okay. There we go. Get a ponytail built up. We'll have to see if GTA continues to live up to the same success it's had, though. Okay. We're not at any of these steps yet. We need more parts. Specifically, number 5 is this one. Okay. And R21. Oh, we've got ears. There's ears on this piece. Okay. Super expensive too, though. What, GTA? There is rumors about a $100 price tag for GTA 6. I'm not sure what price GTA 5 is. We'll have to see, because honestly, at that price, I'm honestly going to wait before I purchase it, see if it's any good. I'm hopeful, but at the same time, I believe that there's some reason to be a little skeptical of it. They've pushed back its release so they can continue working on it, and that communicates to me that they really do just need a little bit of extra polish. Excuse me, a little bit of extra polish for their game, or else it's nowhere near where they want it to be, and they're panicking right now. So I've got my doubts right now. And well, even if you're not even talking about 6 recently, I don't play GTA much, but I hear that there's monetization now in GTA Online. Um, which didn't necessarily need it. But hey, maybe I'm wrong about that. Okay, back of the head. Here. this here, and it gets pinned to the top. Oh, maybe. Yeah, and that's what I'm not excited about. If there's gonna be a ton of bugs on the first week, you know. I kind of want it to just be a game. I want it to be a game I can play and not have to like worry about. You know, I just want a worry stress-free gaming experience. So I mean, I'm on PC anyways, so it's going to have to sit and marinate for a little while before I get my hands on it. Because I've heard that they're only doing a console release first, and then maybe a year later the PC will get it. So I'll have to wait anyways. But it'll just be interesting to see how the game develops. Oh, I can slap a face on there. How about a little side eye? There we go. Yeah, exploit a money glitch. Yep, we could always do that too. To be honest, I don't see much problem with that. Oh, there we go. All right, one head. Look at that, ready to go. I feel like this is assembling much faster than the Gundam is. Yeah, no, if you can glitch, you should. I've always viewed GTA as a primarily single player game, so honestly, if somebody wanted to like cheat or exploit or glitch in it, then like that's there. They should be able to. I really only ever have problems with that when it comes to online games. And even then, as long as you can get people to agree with you, whatever glitch or exploit you're doing might be okay. Okay, I'm looking for E, which is one of these flesh ones. Yep, there's E. 7, 4, and 5. Okay, here's 7. But yeah, just viewing GTA as a primarily single player experience. You should play however you want. But a lot of video game companies these days tend to implement an online single player, like you have to connect to their servers for product verification and stuff, and then of course they implement like an anti-cheat. Uh, or they just straight up implement some weird monetization into their single player games. Okay, then I need R12. Modding in there is pretty good, and I know from a friend that mods you can get for the Helldivers are really funny. I have seen a few Helldivers mods, and I am tempted to maybe get back into it by modding it. I mean, there's all kinds of silly mods out there. Let's see, I was watching just a YouTube short the other day, and a guy had installed a Miku Beam, Hatsune Miku. So it got her voice, and she was saying in one of her songs, she says beam. Anyways, I can't do the voice, so don't expect a voice. But it changed the sound of the orbital laser to that, and I thought that was hilarious. I would definitely appreciate that in my own Helldivers. But it makes me wonder if there's any like additional content mods or something that would affect, if there were any mods that added like maybe additional enemy types or things like that. Because then you could kind of break up the monotony, at least, of some of those missions. There's a BMW for the transport vehicle in the anime. Whenever there's a bomb, they have Megumin's explosion. Yeah, I saw that one too, actually. Chica's explosion! Which is funny. Everyone likes a good little Konosuba joke. Then, of course, they got all those funny armor mods, so you can be whatever anime waifu you desire. But once again, even with mods, I still think I would find the experience just a little stale if I didn't have somebody to play with. Best part of Helldivers is probably the jokes you make with your friends along the way. It's not about completing the mission. It's about the friends and jokes you've made along the way. Alright. These curved surfaces are proven a challenge. A lot more fun with friends, especially seeing them die in crazy ways or dumb things that happen to the team. Yep, that's exactly it. All the stories that you tell after the mission is over. Or even just laugh about during the mission. There's definitely some times fighting the automatons that we've had some funny moments. Because I feel like a lot of their weapons can ragdoll you, so it just throws you into these kind of unconventional situations. Or you get blown into somewhere funny. Automatons might be my favorite, probably for that reason. I think maybe automatons are probably the hardest. Hot take, maybe. The hardest enemies to fight in Helldivers. But I also think they're the funnest. On the opposite end of the spectrum, though, there's a lot of like hyper realistic co-op shooters. Me and my friends have had a really fun time playing Ready or Not. Um, I don't want a dual chainsaw robot running at me while I'm trying to reload. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, what pieces am I looking at? Okay, building up the shoulders. That's what it looks like. All right, slide that together. But it's probably just how much heavy armor and medium armor that they've got rolling around in automatons. So you like have to take the team weapons or the anti-armor weapons and stuff. You have to pick weapons that have armor penetration. It just kind of limits your loadout a little bit. I mean, I guess you don't have to be limited because they all have different weak points and stuff that you can use, but still, it's a little difficult. Got back into Call of Duty, and my friend made me get Marvel Rivals. I've heard lots of good things about Marvel Rivals, but ever since Overwatch left a bad taste in my mouth, I just haven't been able to take the step back into those hero shooter games. Which is kind of a pity, because again, I've heard really good things about Marvel Rivals. I just can't separate it from Overwatch in my head. It died a slow, painful death. Okay, I'm looking for D's and R's. R8 and R10. Because I really liked Overwatch when it first came out. Thought that was a great game. But just the longer it went, the more painful it was. It was harder to stick around. They just made a lot of weird, I don't know, maybe not weird. They just made some weird decisions. All right, I'll stick with that. They made some weird decisions. Yep. That I do not understand. Okay, 3 and 4. Not horrible. Definitely had my fair share of wanting to uninstall at moments. Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, or both? Because yeah, by the end, I was definitely said to myself, all right, this is it. We're done. It's time to go. And we uninstalled Overwatch. Okay, D, 4, and 3. We already got 3, so now we need 4. But honestly, it was like trying to fight a sunk cost fallacy, you know? Because I had spent so much time in it, I held on for probably longer than I should have, just because I had some good times in there. But it wasn't living up to it in the end. Marvel. Overwatch you played once or twice, definitely was like, nope, not doing this. Okay. When did you play Overwatch? I'm just curious. Was it right when it came out? Had it been out for a while? I wanna see if your experience is relatable. Because I started playing right when it came out, and like I said, right when it came out, I felt it was in a pretty good state. But if you tried to play maybe even like a year after its release, I can see why you didn't get into it. At that point, I felt like it was definitely starting to descend, go downhill. Yeah, like a year and a half after it came out. Okay. So maybe you experienced what I was experienced and you just weren't sucked in yet, so you didn't feel the urge to keep playing. But a couple of buddies of mine are getting into Marvel Rivals, so it's been growing on me. I just haven't been able to pull the trigger yet. And it also doesn't help that I'm not like super well versed into the Marvel universe or anything. I mean, kind of familiar with it just due to the fact, of all the movies and stuff that came out. But I was never like reading the comic books as a kid or anything, and even then watching the movies, I mostly just watched them because other people were watching them, and so I tagged along. Superheroes and the like have never been the favorites. Never terrible, but never the favorite genre. Always been a bigger fan of sci-fi settings. All right, we'll see you later, Psycho. We'll be streaming tomorrow. It'll be back to a video game stream. We're gonna keep playing Tainted Grail: Fall of Avalon for a little while. Get a little further. But you have a good night. Okay. What am I doing with all these parts? Combining them, he says. Yeah, I know that. All right, got it all together. Yep, see ya. All right, what do I got here? Collarbones? I think I'm looking at some collarbones. Okay. This slots into here, I believe. And this should slot into here. There we go. Get the pegs to line up. Gotta wrestle with it. Okay, we're not quite made it up at the top here. There we go. Rolled that in. It's kind of a weird structure for a neck. Okay, slot right in. But it makes sense, I guess, since it's finishing up the back there. Okay, these are the arms. Shoulder blades. All right. It's all coming together. It's all coming together. What else we got floating around up here? We need to finish the chest. C5, C6, and A10. All right, where on the sprue would those be? Right here. Oh. Okay, maybe... I don't think it was connected. I really freaked out there. Thought I had broke something. But I think we're in the clear. I think we are in the clear. Okay. Alright, got those. Now I'm looking for that A piece. Oh man, where would A be? Maybe one of these black pieces. Yep, A. 3. 1, 2, 3. Ain't no way. It says 3. But who's 3? Which 3? It... Alright, I've got to look at all these 3s now. Nope, 3's a shoe. And 3 here looks to be a sleeve, so I don't think it's one of these. It's A10, never mind. I'm just a dingus who can't read instructions. But we figured it out. We figured it out. Okay. Now we're cooking with peanut oil. But yeah, no, superheroes just never been a huge deal for me. I do like some superhero stuff, right? Like the Dark Knight trilogy, I think is really good. But at the same time, I think it's maybe because it doesn't depict a superhero as much as it does like a crime-fighting vigilante, right? Batman doesn't have super strange, super awesome powers. You know, he's just an excellent martial artist, a great detective, and that's how he fights crime with the help of all of his innate skills and then technology. So maybe it's just suspending my disbelief for heroes and hero movies. Sucks my enjoyment from them. Alright, working on this little trim piece, which we did not break, so that's great. And even then, we're talking about Marvel Rivals, but here I am just listing off a DC hero. Just listing off a DC hero. Though a friend of mine did recommend that I watch it's not the newest, or maybe it is. I'm just so far behind on all of these, but they recommended I watch one of these Batmans. They really enjoyed it. So, I'll have to give that a go sometime. But that's another thing. I just haven't watched a lot of movies recently. I feel a lot of releases these days have been kind of disappointing. Or remakes of things I've already seen, and some of them have put a spin. I put a spin on the story, so they're a little different, but at the same time, it's still pretty much the same story. So I never feel inclined to go and watch those remakes. Okay. Get this accent in there. Maybe. Let's see. I believe it's supposed to go this way. Oh, yeah. It's all coming together. Okay. You almost cut your fingers sliding this in, though. Just a sharp piece. It's just a sharp piece. All right. There we go. Okay, now I need D11. The good thing we seem to be using a lot of pieces from consecutive sprues. Makes finding everything easy. But let's see, as for media entertainment these days, it's mostly a lot of video games, tabletop, and then reading. I have been sucked into the manhwa rabbit hole recently. I've been reading a lot of those. Lots of good ones, lots of genres too. It kind of surprised me the depth that they already have. Maybe it's just because I wasn't exposed to the genre earlier. But I mean, they've got everything: romance, action, mystery, you name it. The whole kit and caboodle. There we go. Working on a chest. Okay, I need B7 now. It'll be this rear one. Yep, this guy. Or maybe it's this gal. Who knows? Okay. I just binged on a whole bunch of series for the manhwas, though. Pappas, one of the uh, apps that's making a lot of these manhwas accessible, has sales all the time on all these different stories, and so I use it to expand my horizons into the genres I may not have tried before. So recently, it's been a lot of like child rearing. It's kind of weird to describe it like that, but it's like hmm, the best way to describe it. Have I goofed this up somehow? Wait. Wait. Would help if I orient it in the correct direction and then. Okay, what am I still missing? Oh, there we go. Slides in like so. All right, we found it. These intricate 3D puzzles. Okay, yep, that's the back. We already knew that this was going to be the front. So it'll get slid in as so. Okay, we're missing a piece of the collar here, it looks like. We need B15. But lots of romance manhwas too. I honestly was surprised that I actually found so much enjoyment in those manhwas. I'd never really considered myself to be a fan before, but they're actually quite good. Good enough, I even joined a Reddit forum. So now I get all kinds of recommendations. Let's see, if I were to recommend any, it might be, well, I don't know if I can recommend that. It started off really good, but then the second season came around, it was not so good. But Duchess in Ruins was pretty good. Um, what other ones? Once again, now that I'm trying to think of things, it's all just blank. All just blank. That's okay. It's all improvements for next time, which is I'm going to have to take some notes so that way I've got talking points. Because I'm just not the best natural conversationalist. I just don't seem to pull anything out of my right off the top of my head like that. You know, nothing wrong with that. But yeah. Okay, let's get this piece settled. Boom. Yeah, we're doing pretty good so far. We got a torso and a head. Okay, we're gonna work on the lower portion of the torso, I believe. Maybe? That tummy. Alright, we need R's. To all of these guys. Looking for 18 and 19. These guys. Okay. I wonder if you can ever recycle any of these nubs. I wonder if anyone's ever come up with a purpose for them. Because it just seems like a lot of waste. It's got to be some way to recycle them, right? I mean, we've got recycling for everything else. Most everything else. Maybe not everything. But it did kind of surprise me exactly what you can recycle, though. Just the other day, I went to a recycling center, and they took whole engine blocks. I recently replaced the engine in my car. And of course, I took out the old engine and put in a new one. But they took that whole old engine, just whole. I thought for sure they would have to do something, or they wouldn't be able to take it, or it's just regular trash, but nope. They took the whole dang thing. Okay, we need R6 and 7 now. But yeah, the amount of stuff we can recycle these days is crazy. I mean, you could probably make a piece of modern art with all of these nubs, right? Put it in a modern art museum. I did go to a modern art museum a couple months ago. And I'll be honest, I was a little lost. Some people's interpretations of art is probably not my interpretation of art. Although some of it was pretty cool. Some of it I did get, but other bits, not so much. Okay, got all of it. Like there was this one that was basically just a canvas of black, and I didn't get that one. There was another one with a ladder that like built up and got progressively smaller. That was kind of cool. And I could see how you could interpret a meaning off of it at least. But that black canvas, I don't know. Seems to me like my man primed a canvas and then never did anything with it. Never went anywhere. All right. Knock that down a little bit, smooth it out. What other art pieces were there? There was a pile of bones. Again, I'm not sure how you would interpret that one, but modern art. I guess what was really crazy is just how much of a following these people had. Like, they were very popular. And I guess it makes sense, right? You can probably find an audience for most things. But just not being part of the modern art community was like, I just don't get it. I don't understand the draw, the appeal. But perhaps that's how they look at us and our understandings of traditional art, or maybe Gunnar art. Okay, this is gonna go up here. Oh, like so. This gets mashed into the bottom. This comes up to the top. And then we put on a cover. Handy little way to build up some structure. Okay, we need R2. If I were to keep you like this. Aha. This way we cannot mess ourselves up. And we say that, but just watch. We'll mess up. Don't you worry. We'll find a way. We always find a way to goof things up. Even if there is no will, there is a way. I wonder where that quote came from. Where there's a will, there's a way. I could certainly hazard a guess, but then I'd be wrong. And who wants to be wrong? It is kind of interesting, though, because we were reading a study on our own confirmation biases and things, and how we don't like to test rival theories because it proves ourselves wrong. We as human beings just don't like to be wrong. Okay, we get into the meat of this thing now. We need 9 and 7 from the D sprue. All right. 9. All right, 9 and 7. I think 7's the back, 9's the front. That's what makes the most sense to me. But just because it makes sense to me doesn't mean it's the right way. All right. Whip that out. Got a tummy. It's definitely the front. And a back. All right, let's clean these bad boys up. Hmm. Okay, yep, got that good. I wonder if I'll need to fill any seams on this particular kit. For the most part, it seems like it's going together pretty good, pretty seamless. But if I've got to fill seams, then it means I probably got to figure out a pretty good painting technique or something. Okay, we've got this front to front, slat to slat. Okay, and then pegs into holes, I believe, for the back. This way. Yeah, that came together pretty seamlessly. Not the end of the world there. I wouldn't fill it. We've got legs. Okay, I need this B13 piece. This X-Men symbol. There we go, that's Marvel, right? X-Men? X-Men's Marvel? Where it is. Don't tell me I'm wrong. I actually kind of like X-Men too. I think maybe just the idea of mutants as opposed to superpowers made more sense to me. Or I guess I could believe mutant powers as opposed to just superpowers. Then again, maybe that's... Why wouldn't that work for Superman then, right? I don't hate him, but I don't like him. But it's explained by being an alien, so that's different biology. That'd be pretty close to a mutant, right? I don't know. Some some just speak to me, some don't. I guess we won't worry too much about it. All right. Add a little bit of trim there. Okay, what else do I need? D6. Okay, a little bit more of the flesh coming in. Starting to build out our hips. There we go. Oh, that. Can't forget that. Hit these sides. Well, I'll never say that content creation is easy, because I'm struggling through this. So you're not supposed to leave big breaks or silences, and man, I am failing at that. Sheesh. Got the front. This swings around. Aha, it does. Okay. All right, now I need the back end of that, right? Because this is the front, that's the back. Yep. That looks like the start of some cheeks. Right there. Hole for a tail, probably. I don't want to trim off too much of this because that seems like an alignment peg. Helps keep the structure. There we go. Got just a little bit more to trim here, I think. But this is going a little easier now, and I think it helped that we built that Gundam first. When I remember last time I'd built one of these, which was a couple years back, felt like girlpla kits were a little harder than perhaps Gundam kits were. So probably a good idea we didn't refresh ourselves with this kit first. I can tell you the bits are definitely a little bit more fiddly for me. Just a little bit. These Polish sausages, they don't want to cooperate. Oh, come on. Find the peg. There we go. We're 50% of the way there. Can we get the other 50? Yes, we can. All right, we got some hips. Everybody likes hips. And once, well, I feel like this seam on the hips is worse than the seam on the torso. Oh, well. Not much we can do about that. All right, we need B10. B10. Another thing I need to do is actually figure out my multi-streaming. We got to keep learning how to grow this channel. Build a community. Excuse me, start building a community. My thoughts are running faster than my mouth. Okay, this is actually a pretty weird little piece. Just the way it flows. It's a little funky. Alright, but we should be able to clean it up, no problem. Yeah, no problem. Just gonna have some dual cheeks, though. Seems like a job for my balancer. There we go. Get some shine back into those cheeks. Yeah, not bad, not bad. Okay, we've come full circle. What's coming next? A tail? Alright, let's get this tail rolling. A, 13, 3, and 14. Alright. Where would that be? B, D, E, I, G, H. B. This is A. Okay. 13 and 3. Ah, I never realized the tail was this color. How's that for observational skills? Pretty non-existent. I thought it would be more like her hair color. Alright, that's 3. And 13. But it could be kind of cool, I guess. I need one more part from this. Yes, A14. Right here off the end. Whoop. Okay. Spitball these ones out. So I think it probably goes pretty well with the color of her battle gear, maybe? That's why they didn't pick a more natural color. Natural tail color. At the same time, I think the contrast provided by a natural tail color might have looked pretty good. Might have looked pretty dang good. Oh well, I didn't design this kit. Somebody else did. And well, they obviously know what they're doing because they're a successful designer. I am not. There we go. Clean that up real good. That cleaned up. Her tail color is natural. We're cooked. If you say so. I thought it might be more like her actual hair color, though, not necessarily her armor color. Welcome back to the stream, Lord Bob. Welcome back. There we go. Yeah, no, like I was saying, I think it might play pretty well with like the rest of her battle gear, but yeah, it was a choice. It's not a choice I would have made. Even if I like this dark and green scheme they've got going on. But I think she has another set where actually where her gear is white. So I don't think it would go pretty well with that gear either. Got the Envy kit and you hate the green. Why do you hate the green? I think it's kind of nice. I think it'll take real well to panel lining, but haven't tried it yet, so who knows? Nice accent. Okay. There we go. Got that all clipped up. Got to go down a step. We're going to 5. 3 and 4. Oh, right here. Yeah, I mean, it's like almost a transparent kind of green. Like I said, I think it looks pretty nice. Although it seems a little brittle. Maybe prone to snapping as opposed to cutting. But it hides the stress marks pretty good. You can hardly see them. Oof. It's all these curved surfaces, though, that are going to be the death of me. Organic creatures. They don't have those nice sharp panel lines that robots do. Oh, man. Yep, these curves are going to be the death of me, I tell you. Bottom of the tail, though. We can still use the file for that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Get rid of that guy. Let's see. Pre-order the sloth, the bear, and the rhino. I'm going to assume that's rhino. A little bit more clip in there. That's good. Oh, 7 deadly sins. Gotcha. Gotcha. I was going to say, I don't think I'm familiar with this, just those words by themselves. But I was going to ask you, what should I Google to figure out what you're talking about? You know, like, they are super pink. Yeah, I still don't think I know what you're talking about. But 7 deadly sins definitely helps me narrow it down. That's a series I still need to watch, is 7 Deadly Sins. I've heard good things about it. I've had plenty of people recommend it to me. I just, for some reason, have not found the time to watch it. All right. Well, now we got to figure out how this works. Up and down, maybe? Oh man, we're gonna have to figure this out. We're gonna have to figure this out. You don't think it's the same as the manga? The anime? Or, yeah, well, obviously the anime. Never mind, that was a stupid question. Don't pay attention. Don't pay attention to me. Have you watched or seen both? Or have you only done one? Because at least the way I've always seen or viewed it, um, I've always found the mangas to be a little more interesting or in-depth for me. Okay, there we go. I finally figured it out. Finally figured it out. It only took us like 15 minutes. Ish. Okay, now tail can be inserted into torso. Yeah. All right, we're close. We've almost got a whole torso. So nope is in like you didn't see the anime? You've only read the manga? 'Cause yeah, like I said, I think I honestly prefer light novels, mangas, then animes, and I think it's just because you get the depth. You get a lot more depth from a light novel. You get all these background knowledge and secrets, and then you go into the manga, and it loses some of it, but it still keeps a lot of it. And then when it goes to an anime, it kind of glosses over a lot of stuff. And well, then sometimes the adaptation just isn't like sometimes the adaptations just don't deal justice to the previous series. Like I was real mad when I should say I was real excited when they announced the anime for She Professed Herself Pupil of the Wise Man. I really liked the light novel for it, but then the anime came out. Not a fan. I hated it. Let's see. Manga was 2012 and TV series was 2014. All I know is like a story about knights that try to save the world or something like that. That's about my understanding. Like I said, I've had it recommended to me, but I've never seen it. I've seen lots of clips about like Escanor though. But it just seems to be a clippable anime, I guess. Okay. A6 and C10. Bad habits coming out again. That's okay. The model kit series is Mecha Musume with Mecha Avatar. Okay. Interesting little combination there. I'll definitely have to give her a look once I'm done streaming. Because it sounds interesting. I wouldn't have thought that they would make kits of 7 to, like that was not on my bingo card. I need C10. But, maybe. Yeah, no. I can't picture it, so I'd have to look it. Get the actual picture in my head. Gluttony kit is amazing. So then do you have the gluttony kit? Or pre-ordered, I guess? Or did you like the sloth kit better? 'Cause honestly, we were talking about kits from like popular like mecha series and stuff. I was talking with a viewer a couple streams ago about some of the kits that 30-minute mission did from nope, I got in on the series too late. Now I'm looking for one not scalper priced. Oof, good luck. Good luck, sir. That's always the problem when they have these limited releases. But no, we were talking about the 30-minute mission kits that they made for that they did for Armored Core, and some of the kits that we would like to see out of them. But Seven Deadly Sins, yeah, no, I would not have predicted that was they were making kits. Figures, sure, but model kits, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Oh, it ran off. Ran off. Greed is the next release. So have they given you a preview of it, or is it just announced? Okay, yeah, water themed. All right. Does that mean the other ones have like elemental themes? Does Gluttony and Sloth have an elemental theme? Be kind of cool if they all did, right? If you said it was like Mecha Avatar. 9. Comes with a whale, a manta ray, and a shark. Like, you can build those things out of the kits, or all of those things are already in the kit, and you build all 3. Envy has a 2-headed dog. Gluttony has a Mecha Anubis. Mecha Anubis. Honestly, this Mecha Egyptian kind of style thing is really growing on me. I hadn't really seen it much uh, back in the day, but these days I'm seeing it kind of everywhere. And I kind of want to pick up a kit for it. I haven't yet, but there's all kinds of good ones out there, so maybe one day. You build all 3. So he's got a whale, manta ray, and a shark minion. I dig it. I dig it. Manta ray seems kind of... Gluttony is the best version of Anubis, in your opinion? They're all waifu kits. Okay. I'm surprised I haven't seen them then. I'm usually pretty good about these, but maybe not. No. Yeah, I'll definitely have to give him a kind of under the radar. All right, so don't feel too bad that I haven't seen him, is what you're saying. Although, from what you're saying, it sounds like I might have to compete for you on some scalpers prices. Ugh, if these kits are that good. Okay, right. I'm not missing anything else, and I can combine. Oh, almost had it. We almost got it to stick. All right, we're stuck. We got it. We got it. Who's selling these kits? Who's producing, manufacturing? Who's the big Who's the big kahuna behind him? MS General, okay. All right, we've got a torso and a head. That's some good stuff right there. How much are the pre-orders for those kits? Oh, these are arms. Okay, I didn't understand what I was looking at for a second there. Or I could just look at the picture and it would tell me, obviously. Obviously. Okay. We need parts off the E sprue. I don't think we've used anything off E yet. Right now, the Hyper MS General kit is the dual set Harley Quinn and Dr. Quinzel. Okay. 3, 9, and 11. I had seen him, but I just don't have a super big interest in a lot of those DC, Marvel, superhero kind of stuff. So it's probably going to be a pass for me. 911. 99 for Envy. Okay. I mean, just off the rip, not having seen it or anything, it might be a reasonable price. Just from my own estimations. Like I said, I actually haven't seen it, so then I can't determine whether or not I would actually buy it. If you were to buy, Sloth seems like the best kit so far. Why does Sloth seem like the best one? Got me. You got me real curious now. Got me real curious. Oh, that's what you're talking about. That's where all the pink comes from in one of your previous messages. Pink teddy bear. Is it like the Kuma Gundams? Is it like the Bear Gundams? Uh, what are they called? Mr. Bear Guy, something like that. I can't remember. Very much so. All right, at least you knew what I was talking about. Pink the only color? Yeah, Bear Guy. Yep. Okay. I had it right after a few guesses. Uh-oh. You might have messed up. I just noticed an alignment mark. Let's see if we can't separate these. This might be our last thing. We're approaching the foretold time. Wait, actually, I think we're okay, just from what I could see. I think we're okay. For DC kits, Catwoman and Batpod is not a bad build. Yeah, I've never made a DC kit, so I have got no idea how they would compare. Whereabouts in quality would you place them between some of the larger manufacturers? Good smile level, like a moderoid build. Okay. Probably not terrible then, but maybe not the best. Alright, that might have to get fixed next stream. Because we are approaching that time. It's good of you to tune in, Lord Bob. It's been a while since I've seen you, so nice to see you again. But I think that's probably where we're going to call it for the night. Let's see. I can pass you on to somebody else if I remember how to do it. Find my dashboard. There we go. All right. Let's get you into this guy. He's working on a Gundam. Master Grade Red Astray.